snickerdoodles with stinkworms.
You're listening to Fear in the Southwest podcast. This is Drew.
I'm Stephanie.
I'm Jason.
And I'm Lewis.
Welcome, our spooky friends.
Damn it.
Okay,
That was sudden
weird.
cut off.
Did
The fade's not right on that one. That's okay.
We'll fix it. I'll fix it.
Somebody will fix it.
I can take care of that.
Like everyone's
One of these guys will fix it. Oh.
All right, we're ready for Halloween
We
now.
have a special friend with us today.
Yes.
Yeah, he will probably go off more times than we like.
We have a spooky bear joining us on our podcast.
His name is Rapunzel.
Rapunzel.
I don't know where I got that.
No.
I'm like, where's his hair?
No.
Where's his hair?
Where's his hair?
No, it's Winnie the Scare.
Oh, that's cute.
That's better than Rapunzel. I
And
think.
he's got the light tan, sort of like Winnie the Pooh does, so, you know. Oh, and Vault Boy just got fed to the bear. Lovely.
Or are they cuddling?
Well, it starts as cuddling. Oh, God. Let's see what happens. Vault Boy's pretty strong. Must be all the stim packs.
Probably.
Anyway, so today's topic, we are continuing our haunted hotels.
Yes, we are.
Yes.
Part 2.
Since it is the spooky season now.
What?
Oh, we all.
Oh, yeah,
It's
yeah.
all good.
It's okay.
What
I'm
happened?
just like, that's where my head is this week.
All right.
I think she thought of the wrong topic.
What topic were you thinking?
I went rogue, I guess,
Where were you going rogue?
to a museum. I don't know.
Well,
I'm
that
sorry.
could be.
That's fitting.
That could be next week.
Yeah.
Haunted museums.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, that is true.
She needs a trip to Disneyland,
I
everyone.
need to go somewhere.
Haunted museum, haunted mansion.
Well, we've got plenty of those here in Tucson. But
That is true.
It's okay. I like the haunted museum. That's cool.
Haven't gone yet. I've only driven past Vegas on the highway.
huh?
He's wearing a shirt called
Oh,
the Haunted Museum.
Yeah.
Oh.
He's in Las Vegas. He's only talking about it like, oh, you're referring to your shirt. You're getting way too much enjoyment out of that.
Yeah.
You know that, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to
You
find
threw it in
one
front of
for
someone
him.
with ADHD. If it moves and lights up.
Okay, maybe him being on the table isn't such a good idea.
Yeah.
I can put him there on the side. He can watch.
Okay. Because he's kind of loud, too.
Yeah.
He's
yeah.
kinda loud.
Yeah.
That's why I was just going to put him back where he originally was.
And now we have a studio audience.
Yeah, we do.
Vault Boy and the bear.
Vault Boys had a little too much to drink last night.
When does Vault Boy not have too much to drink?
That is true. That's
Yeah.
how you go and increase your strength and your other things, and then you decrease your intelligence. I don't remember everything the alcohols do to you, man. They all do different stuff.
Okay.
Anyways,
All right, so
we're not talking about that.
No.
we're not here to talk about Vault Boys' drunk tendencies.
We're here to talk about haunted hotels.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So, Jason, why
Yes.
don't you start us off today?
All right, I think I will.
You have no choice now.
That is true.
Been voluntold.
Yes, I have. All right, mine is Conquer's Colonial Inn.
Ooh.
It is one of the oldest hotels in America. It was built in 1716.
Oh, that's old.
Oh, it is. Originally, it was 3 buildings. It started its life as 3 different buildings. The west building was the private residence of the owner, and then the east and the middle one was the actual hotel, and then the east wing was like guest rooms for family visiting and whatnot. And you know, it's been in operation as some form of a hotel ever since it was first built, except for one period in time, which is where the ghost story part comes in. During the Revolutionary War, specifically the battles of Lexington and Concord, it was set up as a field hospital run by a doctor who was actually the descendant of the original builder. So it was still his family's home. He just opened it up. And in fact, his triage center is the Liberty Room, which is a meeting room now. Wonderful spot for that.
Yeah.
And room number 24 was the operating room. And on a slightly lesser note, room 27 was the morgue. So, if you ever go to it, I mean, it's a beautiful place. It's got lots of rich history. They've painstakingly tried to preserve and refurbish everything they could from its timeline. But yeah, they're actually featured on an episode of Ghost Hunters, as I recall. Let me double check and make sure I got the episode called "A Shot in the Dark" from 2010. So they went in there and they did what they do, and they did go and find some spectral energy and whatnot. Especially more than likely the operating room number 24, which a lot of people don't like to go to. It's to be expected, though. They also did have a lot of famous people that came and stayed there. To name a few, you had Jackie Kennedy Onassis, you had Ted Kennedy, John Wayne, Shirley Temple, Henry David Thoreau, who was a renowned author and philosopher known for writing Walden and Civil Disobedience, whose family had actually at one time owned the Colonial Inn. It was his grandfather who had bought it.
Where's the music?
Yeah, music man. The hell's wrong with you?
Oh, he's got the other one.
Okay, now
There
we
we
have
go.
music.
Yes.
Jeez.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's got a long, storied history behind it. It was also it was around during Civil War. I think it was, in fact, I read something in here. Oh, J.P. Morgan from the financial group J.P. Morgan. He stayed here at one time. Well, there was something about the Civil War in here. It served a function, but I don't remember what it was, and I can't seem to find it.
No, it was probably a hospital in the Civil War as
Well, by then, the doctor's family no longer owned it. The Thoreaus had owned parts of it. Again, it didn't really become one whole building, all interconnected together, until about 1900. In the early 1900s is when it actually was fully incorporated as all one unit, because originally the two east and west was still private residences. Well, actually, the east got brought into the hotel first, and then the west, which was all the way up from its original building all the way up until the early 1900s, was a private residence for the family that ran it. Then in the early 1900s, they actually incorporated it and gave it, as part of it. They got a tavern as well as a restaurant in there. But yeah, I mean, it was owned. The middle portion was owned by a Deacon White, and the reason why he bought it was he heavily believed in the Sabbath, so he wanted to be able to go and monitor who's walking the roads on Sunday? So that's one of the reasons why he bought it, was so he could help monitor and make sure there's nobody walking, through the town or by this place on Sunday, because, he's very religious and thought Sabbath meant we all stay at home. Well, Sunday's usually my day of getting out and doing stuff, so, or used to be anyways.
And people love to drink on Sundays.
That is true. But Mass still has the no alcohol before noon rule.
Yeah.
They at least going on in the morning of the Sabbath. But, yeah, in fact, one of the best things, too, is one of the buildings, the eastern one, was sold by the doctor's family, Dr. Minot, M-I-N-O-T. Y'all pronounce it how you want to. I'm doing the best I can.
I think that's
Why
pretty
not?
good.
I have no idea how it's actually pronounced. It could be pronounced Minot, because I've seen some French names where it's spelled the same way, and that's how it's pronounced.
That's because the French are goofy.
Anyways, he sold the eastern building to his son-in-law, Ammy White, A-M-M-I. It's back in colonial era. Men had weird names too. It's not just a current thing, everybody. Weird boy names and girl names existed since the dawn of time. But he was actually notorious for killing wounded British soldiers during the battles of Lexington and Concord. Instead of, giving aid to the enemy, he would. But yeah, so yeah, like I said, it's a really cool place. I tried to find the pictures of it. They've really embraced its heritage, and they really make sure it keeps that colonial look to it from when it was first built. And again, they've had a lot of famous people go there, and yeah, a lot of guests have had the ghost stories. That they'll hear the screaming of patients. Some of them in room 24 have gone on record as saying that they've heard what sounds like instruments, scraping together and stuff falling on the floors, even though they're the only ones in there. There's nobody else around. And of course, the room 27, the morgue. For some odd reason, everybody says that it's colder than what the AC says it should be. And even though the Colonial Inns had AC people go out there and check it and say it's working normally, at night, it gets cold. During the summer. During the winter, yeah, that's normal. It's expected to get cold. It's New England. But yeah, so they're like, it just feels colder in here, because it was a morgue.
Yeah.
Anybody who's ever gone into a hospital, whether it's a old broken down one or a modern one or whatnot, you go down near the morgue, it's cold. You can feel the death in the air.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that's mine. It's nice old, lots of history. I mean, like I said, the battles of Lexington, Concord, some of them happened not far away. I mean, there is historical sites and reenactments all around this hotel that you can walk to within a couple minutes. So yeah, lots of good history, lots of good ghost stories. It's nothing. It's always neat to see a hotel turn to a hospital, back to hotel, and find out what the spookiness that happens. And I think there was some reports about the Liberty Room, since that was the triage center, that that just feels off to people. I mean, it's to be expected. Sometimes in a triage area, people will die waiting for the care. But that's my hotel. So who's going next?
Andrew.
All right.
Well, someone's taking their position as head of the or owner or user of the board seriously, aren't they?
All right. So this is actually kind of a little bit of a revisit, because Fear has actually done a whole episode on this hotel. The Cecil Hotel, Los Angeles. Now, a lot of ghost hunters have been there. Ghost Adventures has had a special there. It's a pretty pronounced haunted place in LA. It was built in 1924. It was a hot topic then as a opulent getaway with it does have a very elegant lobby. But then it became a home of two serial killers.
Of course it did.
The Night Stalker, Richard Ramirez, and the Australian serial killer. Oh God, what was it? Jack Unterweger, whatever. Looks like underwear if you read it too fast.
Wow. Jeez.
Anyway, so I mean, it's a pretty tall hotel.
Yeah.
That's about a 16-story.
Let's see if he's right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14.
Ah.
15
With-
if you count the roof.
One basement and one mezzanine.
16.
16.
I know how to quickly find a Wikipedia page. It's also a housing complex now.
Yeah, it is. It is now a affordable housing unit.
It's not in the best neighborhood either. That
No.
whole area.
Is
of
it in Watts?
Los Angeles is
What do they call that street? Death Row?
Skid Row.
Skid
Oh.
Row.
I was about to
Skid Row.
say, yeah, just look at the name of the management company. Skid Row Housing Trust. I mean, come on.
Yeah, you're even the bear thought.
Oh no, the bear got. Oh boy, he's gone. He's gone. Where'd he go?
Got a little loud on the mics, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Good bear.
Yeah, I
Good
mean,
job, bear.
seriously. Yeah, the whole area was known as Skid Row, so naturally we'll name our company after that, I guess. I don't know. I mean,
Well, it is the home of the largest homeless population
Yeah.
in the
And,
country.
a lot of crime, a lot of.
It was also the Cecil Hotel was Ryan Murphy's inspiration for the American Horror Stories hotel.
nice. Nice.
Yeah, and then we have that one Canadian tourist who, on surveillance video, like freaks out, don't see anybody else, and she ended up in the water tank.
Oh.
On the roof. Dead.
Interesting. Oh. Shit.
Yeah. They still don't know exactly what happened.
But the way she had to get to the water tank, it's almost impossible for guests.
Yeah, like how
Like
she
she
got
would
up
have
there.
had to go out a window and scale.
They're not sure how she ended up in the water tank, but don't drink the hotel water.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what ended up happening is she had been dead in there for a while, right?
Mm-hmm.
And people started noticing their water tasting, smelling funky, and that's what triggered an investigation of what was wrong. Is that right?
Yep. There was discoloration of the water, bad odor.
Yeah.
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 So this hotel is just full of
Nastiness.
Nastiness.
Serial killers doing their murders there, and there's a lot of haunted history there and ghosts. There's too much to really dive into, but you guys can listen into that episode. We dive more into the history of Cecil Hotel, but it is pretty haunted. Has a pretty dark history.
Sounds like
It's
it.
in Skid Row, LA. I mean, it was supposed to be an elegant hotel that by the 60s was pretty much
Gone.
gone to shit, and yeah. All right, Steph, you're up.
All right. Well, I messed up, so I'm trying to bounce back. So a haunted hotel is here in Arizona. It's the Copper Queen Hotel. We actually all went to it about a year ago. So a lot of the history there, you know, it opened in 1902. It was an extravagant hotel at the time. Back then, it was about 72 rooms, and each floor had a shared bathroom. You know, they weren't like hotels now where everyone has their own private quarters. But some of the hauntings is a little boy named Billy. He was staying at the hotel. He was there frequently, and he drowned in the river nearby.
Oh man.
And so one of the ghost sightings is of a young boy and his mother, actually. But they said the young boy does seem happy, but afraid of water. So when like a hotel guest is getting water from the faucet, or, you know, now they have showers, you know, in the rooms and things like that, they start to feel uneasy, anxious, not wanting to be around the water. And so other hauntings include, you know, like lights flickering. I know I had an uncle that stayed there, and he said that when he was asleep at night, someone tore the blankets off of him.
Oh no.
Ooh.
Nope.
And then, you know, he just thought he was dreaming, and he just said he kept having nightmares, just horrible nightmares. He felt like people were staring at him, and, you know, he felt uneasy there. And so a lot of people have reported that just because they're not quite sure, like, how many people have come in and out. You know.
Damn.
That's creepy.
That's very
I know
creepy.
when I first went to the Copper Queen, like with my family, my brother refused to even walk in. He was so scared of it. He sat outside.
And, you know, that's always something because they say kids can sense things. And when they're afraid to go into a building, they're afraid of a person, they're afraid of something, it's usually like their intuition's right.
They have a journal at the desk.
Yeah, they do. They do have a journal there where people who've had experiences can write down what's happened to them at the hotel, what they saw, or...
Did you remember to write down when you got the back of your shirt tugged when we
Oh,
went?
that's right, yeah.
No, I didn't write it in the journal.
You should have.
Oops.
And another thing I've heard is, you know, with a lot of these old hotels or just old buildings, every time there's a renovation done, you know, you have holes in the wall, and they said that allows spirits to come in. So they said every time a building's renovated, sometimes new hauntings occur after that. Spirits that were trapped or...
Yeah, I've heard of that. Yeah, a lot of times the spirit can get trapped in a wall not long after their death, like if they did a renovation or whatnot. Their spirit can end up getting trapped in a wall and whatnot. Then it won't be till years later when they're doing another renovation. They're like, oh man, this whole wall, we just can't save it. We got to tear it out. And then it could release. I've heard of that, yeah. Yeah, there's lots of documented cases of that happening. Like, yeah, it's like, we got this historic hotel, never had issue with it. Then we went in there, we removed all kinds of old plaster and everything off the walls because we had to update the main structure of it. It was getting a little unsafe. So, you know, we refurbished it all, got it great. Now all of a sudden people are scared to go in half our rooms, and I don't get it. I just don't understand it. Of course, you got the guy in the background going, dude, I got the form, I got the paper right here. Look, it says what happened. All the next is to tell them, like, shut up.
Yeah.
Did you ever notice that a lot of owners are like, yeah, we got this weird stuff going on. I don't understand it. But if you ever look at the like staff nearby, you'll see somebody going, yeah, just giving that face of, yeah, you knew nothing about this, right? Bullshit. I got some premium beach land for you in the Sahara Desert if you want that too.
Well, I know too, like some real estate agents were under fire because they didn't disclose the whole truth about a house or, you know, a property before selling it or leasing it out, not realizing people were murdered there, someone died there, suicide. I
think it's in law now.
I think so too,
Yeah,
because
it's
people.
part of the
I think it's because
transparency law.
people can look it up now so much easier than back in the day, and so now you know people wouldn't know what they're getting themselves into.
Oh, back in the day, you'd have to, you know, either you run across the neighbor, go, oh,
And then they
you
tell
lived
you.
in this house now, huh? Oh yeah. You ever hear anything weird going on at night? But no, why? He goes, oh well, probably nothing to worry about. Then as they're about to walk away, you're like, hold it. You don't start a conversation like that after a hey, how you doing? And then walk away. Get back here, tell me what's going on.
Yeah.
So you
I've
have to go around
actually
here.
experienced the shady landlord shit. I have. Where they're like, oh, don't mind the noises in the attic. The house is
Oh
settling.
yeah.
Really? Because it's built in 1960 and it's a brick house. The noises you are describing as
Settling.
settling is not settling noises. It's like someone running through the freaking attic.
Well, if it's got a wooden roof on it, then.
It's not like it's like boom, 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 boom. If my house is settling like that, I'd be afraid it's collapsing.
That's usually a good sign it's about to collapse. I know, I knocked down a building once. That's the noise it makes right before it falls. I walked outside and just before it did that too. So sorry.
I've experienced the like we don't want to tell you what happened. So they undercut it with, oh, it's just the house settling.
Yeah, gotta love when they do that.
Right. Bullshit. That's not house settling noises. The ceiling's not even cracking. Sorry.
But I would stay at the Copper Queen.
Me too.
I
Nope.
totally stay at the Colonial Inn myself.
Nope.
Because I
I
forgot
would
to
stay-
mention something.
Oh,
During the Revolutionary War, the current tavern used to be the storehouse for the munition for the entire area. So it was also kind of a target. I mean, they had another depot where they stored it all that the British knew about, but they also had stored some supplies because remember that old saying, don't store all your eggs in one basket? Yeah. Colonials were smart. They knew about that. But yeah, that was another reason why the battles all happened around it and used as a hospital because it was also ammunition storage. So let's go to a tavern that used to hold munitions. Love it. In fact, yeah, I would totally have a beer there.
yeah.
Sounds good.
Give me room 27.
Yeah.
I thought it was 24.
No, I want the morgue.
The morgue.
Screw the damn. Now, see, the morgue is more quiet. You just feel cold, and I love the cold. So,
So,
naturally, it's perfect for me. Y'all go ahead and stay in the,
the surgical room.
Yeah, you stay in the operating room with all the noises of them cutting people up and sewing them together. Yeah, y'all take that. But then we'll go ahead and we'll go to the Liberty Room. We'll have some lunch or something.
No.
Have a little event.
Nope. Okay.
Alright.
I guess it's my turn now.
I almost forgot about you.
That doesn't surprise me, asshole.
Bear went to sleep. Hey!
Okay. I know another way to get him on.
Squeeze
No.
his foot.
No, you take those foot.
He tickle.
Okay, there's your intro. Go for it, man.
Okay, on that note, mine is in Chicago. Chicago. The Drake Hotel
Ooh.
at 140 East Walton Place. It opened, let's see, I'm not exactly sure when it opened. Sometime in the 1920s. But it's a pretty elegant hotel. It's still around today. But it has a ghost of the famed lady in red.
The lady in red.
Yeah, it was opened in 1920. So, yeah, I was right.
Sometime in the 1920s. 20! Ding, 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 ding.
What can I say? I have fast fingers when it comes to research.
But
You are the king of research.
he's the king of nerds.
Okay, anyways,
That one hurt.
thing.
That one hurt.
But it has a couple of different ghosts in it. The first one is the lady in red. She still creeps around the hotel almost 100 years after her death. Her tragic death, in fact, on New Year's Eve.
Ooh.
The legend goes that the crimson-adored woman discovered her lover, or in some reports her husband, with another woman during a gala attended by the city's elite. So she jumped from a window on the 10th floor. We do not need sound effects, except for maybe that one. So, and some people,
That was fucked up. I'm sorry.
I didn't do the last one.
some people
What
say,
was that sound?
some people actually say she jumped from the roof. But she's been roaming the hallways and is commonly witnessed on the 10th floor and the sumptuous Palm Court. It's
What?
It's got a palm court.
Oh,
Palm court. Come on now, get y'all's mind
you
out
said
of...
sumptuous.
Yes, that's the word used to describe the palm court.
See, it just sounds nasty, but it's not.
And it's a room where they hold high tea for the high tea aficionados.
What the hell's the difference between high tea and normal tea?
It's a British thing.
Oh my god.
Don't
Wait, I thought
question
Chicago was Italians.
Huh?
I thought Chicago was famous for Italians.
And the Irish and everything else.
Yeah,
They're sort of like Boston.
We're still the first.
But there's also the woman in black.
Do they
was-
fight?
Oh, no.
No reports have surfaced yet, apparently.
She was actually murdered by. She was a murdered socialite by the name of Adele Bourne Williams in 1944. Williams was a guest at the hotel, as the story goes, and entered her room to discover the woman in black, who pulled a gun from her purse and shot Williams dead. The case was big news at the time, but never solved. And perhaps the most poignant ghost, however, those are the parents of Bobby Franks. Franks was kidnapped and murdered by his cousin, Richard Loeb, and his accomplice, Nathan Leopold in 1924. The two said they did it for the thrill of it.
Wow.
And I'm not sure what that noise was.
Yeah.
It's been going on for a few days now.
I think this
Ooh.
What the?
Not a clue.
we may have a haunted person here.
I
don't
even
know.
thought maybe an air freshener thing, so I moved it from one location to another. And it's still making the same exact noise. So
Oh, something just squeaked too.
That was me.
his
Chair.
chair.
It was his chair.
That's what we know about. That's his chair. It's all good.
But yeah, they kidnapped Bobby Franks for the thrill of it. And it was the court case of the century in Chicago, and the reports at the time noted that Frank's family left their home to avoid gawkers. They moved into the Drake, where they spent the rest of their days. And they remain there in the afterlife, it seems, and have been witnessed wandering the hotel mourning their murdered son. They say the best time to visit the Drake is during the Masquerade Ball, a nightmare on Walton Street. And it takes place in the stunning Palm Court, and your ticket allows you admission to a luxurious masquerade ball filled with history and mystery. And it includes live entertainment by the Flat Cats, Mask, and the black tie attire
Tongue twister.
to add to the ambiance of the extravagance. Hey, I didn't tell you to stop music.
Does what it wants.
It's on a first come, first served basis, and the seating is available in the Palm Court and Club International rooms. I don't think I would stay at the Drake either.
Oh, why not? Would you at least go to the masquerade party?
No,
I would.
Let's go.
You outvoted. You're coming.
no, I'm not.
It's an all or nothing. You gotta come.
No, I didn't even go inside the Copper Queen when we went there.
I wanted a cigarette at the time, so I didn't feel like going in. That's my whole excuse.
Plus,
Great.
Andrew came running down the stairs because his jacket got tugged.
That is true. You did.
But I went in.
I wanted a
I went
cigarette.
into the
But you
lobby,
ran.
I went into
But I
the
ran
lobby.
out. But I went back in.
but we were like, you know what? We need our nicotine fix. We're just gonna step outside for a cigarette. Y'all went up to the room, and by the time we finished our cigarette, like, oh man, we might as well go in. Y'all came running out like, never mind, we're
No.
gonna go.
Stephanie didn't come running out. It was
came out
Andrew that. It was Andrew who
I
came
was
running
scared
out.
and excited at the same time. I didn't know
He
what else
looked
to do.
like a ghost.
And
He was
Stephanie
white.
just walking out of there laughing her ass off. It's like, okay, we got him scared and laughing. We got you laughing. What happened?
I got tucked. My
Oh.
jacket got
You got
tucked.
what?
You got what?
Whoa!
Crazy.
Oh,
Andrew and the bear.
I think I've heard that story somewhere before. I can't remember if
Andrew
it
and the
ended up
bear.
good or bad for the bear or Andrew.
I feel like this makes you want to do like a haunted hotel road trip.
Again?
Yeah.
and stay there.
Yeah.
Oh no!
We'll sleep in the hotel room. Lewis will be in the car.
Be at the hotel across the street. We'll wave.
Yeah.
We'll
And-
have
and
it.
then
We'll,
he's like, I
we'll
saw a
have the
ghost behind
Morse
you.
code if something happens.
The only problem with that is most of the hotels that are haunted don't have another hotel near them
That's true.
Yeah.
Yep, that's true.
because
Well, I mean, if Copper Queen got the other one, but that's haunted too, and it's just down the road.
yeah, exactly.
Well, but that whole town is really small and tight knit
Yeah.
together. So plus, it's also got the haunted mine, the headquarters and the museum for the
The whole
headquarters
town's
that used to be
haunted.
there. So yeah, that one doesn't count. He is way too knitly together. We're talking about other states and towns where they're more spread out.
Yeah.
Then yeah, you're gonna find one. I mean, hell, Massachusetts, we got a few haunted places here and there spotted. A shit ton of haunted battlegrounds, granted, yes, that surround the hotels, which actually comes to wait a minute. Come to think of it, a lot of haunted places in Mass have some form of a battleground nearby. And then the South does too, as well. Down in the Southeast, of course, from the Civil War era. Yeah, a lot of their battlegrounds, they have haunted places right nearby.
Yeah.
There's definitely a connection with war and hauntings.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was in Massachusetts, a lot of the nicer homes had like a gravesite in the front yard. In certain parts that I went to.
Well, yeah,
Oh, it's
before
the same in the
because
South,
the
too.
families,
Yeah.
the families used to bury their people on the property, on the land.
that's true. Well,
So I thought
yeah,
that was
well, that was a tradition that dates way back to, way back to Middle Ages. Not the Dark Ages where everybody was thrown into mass graves, but that's because the plague was running rampant, so we don't count that. But no, a lot of times when a loved one would die, you would bury them with you. Usually you would have a wake first, which also kind of dates back to, well, this actually dates a little sooner. It's more colonial era and whatnot. And the reason for a wake, and I don't know how many of you guys actually know why it's called that. Do you?
It's. Go ahead. And then-
Well, no, if you know, let us know. I'm opening the floor for y'all to start
it's
talking
it's
here.
to observe the body, right? To
Yes.
Safe it.
to
To make sure they're
it's
actually
dead.
dead. 'Cause
Yeah.
A lot of times people will get, blackout drunk. Nowadays, we know to check pulse. Oh, they're still living. Get them home. Back then, they didn't know about checking a person's pulse. Usually, the only way they knew you were alive is if you were talking to them. That was it. Or, if you were sleeping and you were snoring. I mean, if you're sleeping next to somebody,
Poor
they
silent
could,
Bob.
feel your heartbeat, no problem. Or they could, feel your breath on them. That's fine. But usually, if you walk by, you see someone face first in the gutter, probably not far from a bar. In those days, they didn't know, is this person living or dead? So a lot of times they would call a local mortician who'd come down, pick up the body. If they could identify them, they would take them to their home and say, hey, your loved one's dead. Dress them up, throw them into the box, toss them in the ground. And they ended up discovering that they would hear some noises from the cemeteries that they always thought, oh, ghost stories. No, it's actually people living. Because when they would move some cemeteries, or someone would buy a lot, but they didn't want the family from the previous owners in the yard no more, they would have to exhume the bodies and move them, or if they had to move a cemetery. Well, when they would bring them up, the caskets would break, so they had to move the bodies out of the old broken caskets. A lot of times, what they found were scratch marks on the lids, denoting that they buried someone alive. So they started a tradition of they put your body, dress you up nice, lay you out on a table in the family home, and everybody would sit up with you to verify to make sure you are dead, because sometimes, all you need is a good night's rest. You'll sleep off the drunkenness and you'll wake up next morning. So if you sit up and wake up, hey, okay, he wasn't dead, he was just drunk. Cool, Grandpa lives another day. or if you want to go Family Guy route, Peter lives another day, because literally everybody knows that episode. But yeah, so they would do that. I mean, that was just one of the things they used to do, is they would bury people in their yard, but a lot of times they didn't know if the person was living or dead, and they would just bury them anyways. Another thing they did, which here's another term for you, Saved by the Bell.
Yeah.
What do y'all think that means when you hear it?
They buried a person with a rope
Tied to it.
tied to a bell above ground.
Also by their
And if the
feet.
person woke up, they could pull the thing and they'd get them buried. Yes, we know about Saved by the Bell. They would also put an oxygen or a breathing tube into it so they could get fresh air.
Also,
They
so they could
started
actually
the-
talk
yeah.
through the tube. You know, they'd shout in the thing. They'd hear the voice travel to the tube and come out and go, "Oh, looks like Jim ain't dead yet. Oops, jump the gun on this one. Get shovels, get shovels."
It also
Jim,
started
we're
the
running
lore
away.
of vampires, though.
Yeah.
That started the lore of vampires, and it was said that
Oh,
at
that's
some
bad.
points they would go there, you know, unbury and then chop off the head of the person. I don't know how true that is. I've heard that before. Or run a stake through them, even though they were just in a deep sleep.
Oh, wait,
and then some people were actually poisoned by darts.
Damn. I did actually hear about that one with the well, I never, with the stake in the heart and the vampires and thing. It was because of the whole tied to a bell. See, the body may not move, but occasionally wind will cause the bell to move. So on a windy night, you could hear the bell ring. And if the person's not paying attention to, it's a windy day, they would hear it and go out there and start digging it up, thinking that they came back, only to find out, no, they're truly dead. So that was one of the possible explanations for, actually staking people in the heart to keep them dead and going, ooh, we got vampires here. A lot of people, in fact, I think the last time I toured Salem, one of them was mentioning about that, because that's also where I learned about the Saved by the Bell thing. Was way back when. And they would mention that, sometimes, the bell wasn't always the most accurate. That's the other reason why they would use the air tube or, the wake was to ensure, because, you could have the wind would blow, but you really wouldn't feel it, wouldn't see the trees move or anything, but it would be just enough to make the bell ring. And you think, oh, they're alive, dig them up. And, oh, no, wait. We buried this guy like a week ago. There's no way in hell they're still alive. Oh, yeah, they're definitely dead. Okay, vampire. Now he's dead. Bury him. Ah, yes. How do we always end up talking about the dead on these shows?
Yeah, because that's what makes
Because it's fear of the
Southwest
Southwest.
podcast. What we talk about.
We got one that's enthusiastic. The other one's like, you're a fucking idiot. Tone her voice. I'll make a comedy duo right there. Straight man and the goofball. Well, it could be vice versa. I mean, he's known to make some goofy remarks and things.
When?
I think we all have goofball
They're
moments.
extremely rare, so it's hard to remember. Well, at least it's hard for me to remember because I've got a bad memory.
Well, I like how this episode branched into a little bit of
Weirdness.
vampire lore.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then also they didn't embalm people back then, and so when they would dig up the graves, a lot of times their skin had receded, making it look like their nails had grown, and then the gums, had receded also, making the teeth look sharper, and so they thought vampire, or
That's creepy.
Same with the hair.
yeah, the hair, yeah. So they thought they're still growing, they're like morphing into something else.
Ugh. Vampires for another episode.
Mm-hmm.
That's good though. That's good lore.
Yes.
It is.
Well, thanks for listening to Fear in the Southwest podcast. This is Drew,
And Stephanie.
I'm Jason.
And I'm Lewis.
and we're not vampires.
No, but we do have our fears.
Stay spooky, our friends.